Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and there's always people who are asking questions, guys who are into fitness and things like that, are always asking different questions about women and chasing women and things like that. And so I want to talk to you guys about a subcategory that a lot of guys are not aware of the potential here, and that is the fat to fit chick. So let me put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing, do a little bit of crafting, and let's talk about it. Now, a lot of you guys out there, you're going to be a little skeptical of this, and I can understand that. You're going to be like, no. I'm not catching one of these fat to fit chicks in the middle of her transformation. But what you're not considering is that they are unicorns. Because let's be honest here, a lot of you guys, you train, you lift weights, you work out. Fitness is a part of your lifestyle. You want a girl who will lift, a girl who will work out with you, do stuff like that. But you need to understand, most hardcore fitness chicks, particularly if they compete in something, are really not going to be all they're cut out to be as far as a lot of things go. Number one, they're going to have a lot of neurotic diet and training things already. They're going to be all broed out. They're going to do tons of stupid bro shit, bro lore, all this bullshit in the bodybuilding industry and world. They're going to be clinging to that. They're going to have probably eating disorders related to their neurotic ass diets. There's going to be problems. On top of that, many of them are narcissists themselves because they're heavily involved in the serious fitness. They're oftentimes already narcissists. This is going to be problems. Furthermore, if they're pursuing something like fitness modeling, bikini competitors who aren't already married with a sugar daddy, they're not always going to be looking for serious relationships. It's going to be hard for you to even get involved with them because they're looking for sugar daddies oftentimes. It is in their best interest in their career if they appear to be single or they are single. All right, so you need to keep that in mind. That is not your best source. And there's a million other dudes competing for them, not even realizing all these problems exist, who work out. Well, you need to understand when it comes to the fat to fit chick, what is it everyone's always saying? Oh, I've got this one friend, you should meet her. She's got a great personality. You always know that's code for her being fat, but she probably really does have a great personality. And here's the thing you're going to notice. You have that image, and it's not always true, that stereotype of the bubbly, happy, charming fat girl. Why is that? Because simply put, girls who have struggled with their weight their entire life, who've always been a little heavy, always been a little chunky, then they got a little chunkier when they became adults, they have historically had to work harder for social acceptance. They have to be friendlier, they have to be nicer, they have to be smarter, they have to be better. All right, they have to be better in their working environment because they're already going to be discriminated against. They have to be harder working and more fun to be around than everyone else to have the social acceptance and even the professional acceptance that they want. This is their normal. They're used to that. They're used to that as just being part of their life. They just have to be friendlier and better than everyone else if they really want to fit in and be liked. Cards are stacked against them. That's the only way they can make it. And they're used to it and they know it. And a lot of them do that. They oftentimes have to compensate with having a superior personality. They have to be fun. They have to be friendly. And they just accept that. And that becomes who they are. And they have to work harder. So what ends up happening, that personality trait doesn't always go away. They usually keep that. That's intrinsic to who they are. Problem is, you like a lot of them are not motivated, but here's the thing. All these girls who struggle to lose weight, they get caught up in all the nonsense and the trends and everything else that everyone does. And so they yo-yo diet, they rebound. What you want to do, because you'll meet them periodically. The girl, she's got a pretty face, but she needs to lose 40, 50 pounds. Or at least 30 pounds still, but she's lost some of the weight a little bit. She's started, she's trying, she's struggling with it though because she's getting bad advice. Bad information, stupid stuff out of magazines, trend diets. Some of these classes have got her trying to lift some pink dumbbells, keeping her out of the weight room. All right, they're getting this bad advice. What generally happens though, if there's someone who comes along who's willing to help them with it, as a guy, because you're always going to have people who want to introduce you to this girl. You guys know what I'm talking about. If you're a genuinely good dude, there are going to be friends and family you have who want to introduce you to girls, and that's going to be that one. She's got a great personality. Sometimes just meet them. See if they're actually trying to lose weight still, or into fitness or whatever. Or you can catch ones at the gym who you see doing that, or ones that who you know through you go to school with them. or they're in your social circle who are trying to lose weight. They've lost a little bit. They're struggling. They're at least putting forward the effort, though. If they've made any progress, you know they're willing to try. You step in and help them with their journey, they're going to tend to be very, very grateful for that. And obviously you need to let them know, just like with anything else, you don't ever date a woman if you're not, let me put it this way, you don't get to know them just as friends unless you say there's at least some romantic interest. Let me put that out there. The friend zone thing is another topic entirely, but guys get put in the friend zone because they don't understand that they need to be aggressive and assertive in letting women know that they are interested. Don't get yourself friend zoned here, but be willing to step in and help them. Be willing to step in and help them. You can even do that while still being somewhat friendly with them, without necessarily dating them, seeing if they're actually willing to listen and put forward some effort in the gym. All right? And if they're willing to do that, you might have something you can work with here. Because a lot of you, if you listen to my channel, you understand basics of training. You understand basics of nutrition. If you're a regular here, you probably at this point know enough that you could absolutely help these women lose that 50 pounds and keep it off. So what you find is that women like this, you've helped them with a goal they have struggled with their entire life. All right, do you understand that if you're doing that and then are a romantic interest at all, you've helped someone with something they've struggled with their whole life and helped them get rid of a problem they've had and improved it and taught them things that are useful and meaningful. All right, they're going to tend to be loyal. So what ends up happening if you pull this off right, this is why they're unicorns. You end up with the girl who has a pretty face, who's now in shape, has a fitness lifestyle just like you do, but she's got that amazing big girl personality. She's still going to have that. Now, a handful of them, because nothing is certain in life, are going to, get a big head because men are going to flirt with them and they're going to be hit on and stuff for the first time in their life and they're going to get attention and it's going to go to some of their heads. But a lot of them, it's not. So you've still got all these other things we've talked about combined with that glowing, happy, bubbly, big girl personality. And because you helped her, that's going to tend to create a loyalty. All right, you've helped someone who is a romantic interest with something that they've struggled with their whole life that has improved them as a person, helped them reach a lifelong goal of theirs, and improved them in a way that they have desired for years. All right, that sort of stuff goes a long way to creating loyalty in other people. And it doesn't matter whether it's a romantic or a friendship or anything else. You create loyalty in people with things like that. All right, so when you really think about this and you think about the fact that a lot of these girls are already hardworking, have great personalities, they're friendly, they're happy, they just don't have the body. You can give them the body. If they're already showing that they're willing to put the work in, if you already have the knowledge and the experience, you can give them that body. It can totally be done. They just need the right guidance. So, I mean, when you really think about that, that's kind of a winning combination. That's a unicorn. That's a unicorn because you can have someone who you helped achieve a change that they want. It's not talking about changing somebody. Oh, people say you shouldn't try to change someone. But you can help someone change in a way that they desperately want to change. They just don't know how. The change that a person is trying to make isn't changing someone. It's helping them achieve a goal. So that's a totally different thing. You don't change people in a way that they don't want to change. But, you think about that combination. You end up with usually a girl who's got hardworking. All right. Very friendly, very outgoing, affectionate, who's probably pretty on top of it and now has an awesome body. All right. That's a unicorn. And they're probably going to be loyal to you because you've helped them. That's your unicorn, guys. Forget the fitness model chick. Forget the bikini competitor. You catch the fat to fit girl mid-transformation and help her with her transformation. That's your unicorn, guys. And it's one that gets overlooked all the time. And people think that I'm full of it on that one. I watched a guy do this years ago. A friend of mine I knew years ago. He was older than me. So I didn't understand what he was doing, and he did use gear, and he did have what you guys would call the ripped aesthetic physique. All right, he very much had that. He was over at a gym that we went to together. He went over and started talking to this heavy girl who needed to lose about 50 pounds. He was over on the treadmill. We'd seen her there. She had lost about 10 pounds. He was on the treadmill every time we were there. He started chatting with her. And I watched, and a week later, he had her over in the weight room. And I'm just kind of like, well, what are you doing? He's like, well, I'm getting to know her. And he's dating her somewhere in there pretty quick. Well, it turned out he helped her lose that 50 pounds. He got her into lifting weights. And then it turned out on top of it, she was a registered nurse who had a fantastic career. She was intelligent, had a good job, and he helped her lose 50 pounds. And last that I saw, because didn't see him much later after that, some other things happened in my life and I moved on. But yeah, they were engaged and ready to be married last time I talked to him. So he ended up wifing the Fat to Fit chick. And again, he was already a registered nurse with a good job, established career. He helped her lose that 50 pounds and he put a ring on it. So I've watched somebody do this firsthand. So just think on that one, guys. Just throwing it out there. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.